What's up? It's your man, Marv Glover.
And the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the chiseled Adonis.
And you are now tuned into the Hold My Nuggets podcast, where we talk 50% sports, 50% real shit, 100% of the time. And if you don't like that, you can hold my nuggets.
Suck my dick.
Welcome to episode numero 8. I don't know why I bounced from Spanish.
What kind of?
You know,
come on, man.
You know what's crazy? The only reason I went back to English because I was about to say it in Creole.
Yeah, weeks.
I was gonna say, what is it in Spanish? It's uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho. All right, numero ocho.
Cinco. That's Chad Johnson, Rosetta Stone.
You know,
Spanish motherfucker.
How you feeling, man?
Rojo. That's red.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling absolutely magnificent. The NFL is back
and better than ever.
Magnificent is finally back. The crave that we've been craving for so long.
Yeah.
It's finally back.
How you feeling? I know you
you
big of a football junkie it is, man.
It's like white powder on a Turner nightstand.
Goodness gracious.
Wow.
I'm
ready.
Wow.
Woo.
Wow.
You talk about a craving. I've been waiting.
That's a little bit much. You don't think
it's
so?
It's a little bit too much?
No, you don't think so?
Fair enough. It's like heroin on a James Brown bathtub.
It's like a hot spoon in Demi Lovato's bathroom. It's
exactly.
Like, there you go. Something like that.
There it is, right there. That's what I'm talking about.
We gonna get
good vein right here.
The FCC gonna cancel that shit. Right.
Oh man, football is back
and better than ever, man.
Now, how did you feel about week 1? Now it's in the books.
What you mean? How I feel about week 1?
How did you feel?
You see them 4 tuds that my boy threw. You see them 4 tuds that Big Dak threw, huh? Big D Prezi. That's what we call him now. Big D Prezi. That's what I'm gonna call him, huh? Huh? Okay. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I feel great.
Hey, it was a sensational victory.
I feel great because my team won.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Granted, we beat a bad team. Wow. Granted, we beat a bad team, but you know, D Prezi still threw for 4 tuds.
I mean, it was a little bit impressive. I mean, you saw Dallas go out there.
Wait, didn't he get NFC Offensive Player of the Week?
Oh, he did? I was unaware. I had no clue. But if he did get it, well deserved. He went out there, he did his thing. Perfect passer rating, was it?
I hope so.
Well, there it is.
I hope.
Well, for the Cowboys fans out there, if you didn't know why they won, you'd feel free to let them know why they won.
You know what I'm saying? Because we got Dak, we got Zeke, Jalen, Van Der Esch, Amari Cooper, Coach Clapp, and we got me. You know what I'm saying? And this is the genesis, the beginning of the 16-0 run before we get to the postseason.
So right.
You know what I'm saying? And win it all. Win it all. I'm excited. I'm turned. I know, football is really your thing. You know what I'm saying? But I still, it's my Cowboys.
I see you had me until you said 16-0. And ladies and gentlemen, we support people getting therapy for their mental illness.
What you trying to say?
It's no joke.
Yeah.
It must be taken seriously. If you need help, please seek out help. Cowboys fans,
we can do it.
Make sure you do. Especially if you think you're going perfect. That's absolutely ridiculous. Regardless, if you have Zeke, if you got Dick. You got Zeke. I gotta say it again because Dick comes first.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper.
Van Der
Esch. Can't forget Jason Witten.
Yeah. Oh, he
came out of retirement.
He got that touch.
Oh yeah.
He got that touch.
They got somebody from Green Bay. We got a Randall Cobb on the team. Can't forget about the tight end. Got Blake Jarwin on the team.
Hold on. Cole who? We got Randall now. Cole who? Beasley who? Throw him in the trash. Where you at? Buffalo. Freezing.
Whoa.
Freezing.
I mean,
keep
he is
his
freezing.
Ass there.
Buffalo is
keep his ass there. We don't need him.
He got some good wings. I hear they're wild. But on the defense side, we got Dalen, Van Der Esch, Tank Lawrence.
You know what I'm saying?
Byron Jones.
Big Tank.
We them boys.
You know what I'm saying?
We going to the playoffs and getting knocked out. But we ain't talking about that right now. Well, basically, there was a certain team that had a lot of hype. Okay?
Whole lot of hype.
Yeah, because we talk about the Cowboys, you're talking about the C's. Let's make it a little bit of blood. We talk about some big B's. They a little bit brown.
Well, I mean, technically, the Cleveland and CB, so they got both.
Yeah, exactly. They're going back.
Right.
Going back. I mean, I see what you're doing here.
But
you saw where I was going.
Yeah, I'm gonna let
Don't
you finish.
ruin what I was trying to do.
Ahead.
We talking about CDs now. I don't know if you're talking about physical CDs or cross dressers, but we ain't talking about that right now. Basically, the wit is at an all-time high. So
these guys turn.
What's going on
in
Cleveland?
Yeah.
Because I was hearing a little birdie told me a couple of analysts told me, a couple of Cleveland Browns fans told me that the Cleveland Browns will be back.
Yeah.
But they was back in the L column once again. They was back in that L train once again. Why? Because Tennessee walked into Cleveland.
Schmack, shellacked, and shat
the
all over
season opener where we saw the Cleveland Browns go down the field and score their first opening touchdown in over 2 decades. And what happened? They was drinking Tennessee whiskey all over the end zone. because they got smacked 43-13.
It was bad. It was really, really bad. I gotta ask you, man. What were your thoughts on their overall Week 1 performance against the Tennessee Titans? We know they lost, but what did your eye test tell you? And just give us your personal breakdown of the game.
Oh, there's no chemistry there.
Okay.
There's absolutely no chemistry there. It's gonna take some time. Mm-hmm. It's not one of those sort of people look at paper, just like Delaney Walker said, hey, if you want to crown them, then crown their asses, but you still got to play football.
They are who we thought they were.
Absolutely. Yeah. They look like a team that was completely discombobulated. Mm-hmm. Offensive line played terrible. Might I add, they had 18 penalties. 18 penalties.
Bro, there were some drives where they had like 3 or 4 penalties, like back to back. It was absolutely
ridiculous. It looked similar to the Thursday night football game between the Packers and the Bears. That one drive where the Bears were in the Packers territory and they ended up with 3rd and 40.
Yeah.
Or 1st and 40 and then 2nd and 40 and then 3rd and 40. It looked like that damn near every drive for Cleveland. They got a Peyton Manning commercial where he says, well, there's no need to have laundry done on Sundays. Evidently, there was a lot of laundry on the field in Cleveland.
Yeah.
There's no reason to have 18 penalties. Where's the discipline?
Right.
Then, on top of that, the pastry chef out there, he was cooking up some pastries. A little bit of apple turnovers coming from Baker Mayfield. Man threw back-to-back interceptions. Then, he decided, we're not going to throw an interception. We're just going to have a regular routine, pedestrian turnover on downs. And then I'm going to throw a pick 6. 3 picks.
Yeah.
They had, I think, 3 different situations in which they had a turnover on downs. Mm-hmm. You got to be kidding me.
Yeah. Absolutely disgusting, man. You know what's crazy? I watched the game, and the opening drive I think is exactly what every Browns fan wanted it to be. It looked good at first. First drive was nice. They were spreading the ball around. They got OBJ involved early, which I'm sure got everybody excited, and they scored. Right, minus the miss extra point on top of that. But the first drive was very, very promising, and then from there it just went all downhill. When you look at the game, all in all, for me, it really just comes down to, I think the Browns beat themselves. First, it starts with the penalties, but then on top of that, it's like just the overall effort. For whatever reason, after that first drive, it just, you could tell in the body language. You're looking at Kitchens. Kitchens looked dazed. Baker looked dazed. You know what I'm saying? The Tennessee Titans just came out and they played like the team that had something to prove. They played like they were the ones with the pressure on them and that had all the Super Bowl talking, this, that, and the third. Mm-hmm. They came out and they punched Cleveland in the mouth, man. It was absolutely terrible. Early on in the game, neither team was really able to get a run game going earlier on, so it was really more of a pass first kind of thing going on. Things were progressing. Then the penalties started coming in. They ended up losing. A lot of the penalties came on special teams and defense, I realized. There was one play in particular where their left tackle, I think on a return, kicked the dude in the head.
Yes, indeed.
Kicked the dude in the head. Then he got disqualified from the game.
Yep.
Then their backup left tackle came in. Then he got hurt. So they ended up having to put like a guard at left tackle. So their offensive line play got even worse than what it really was in the game. And then you had a guy like Baker. On his first pass, he almost picked it off. I don't know if you remember. He almost got picked off. I don't know if you remember that. I think it was like a play action or something like that. But all in all, man, it was just sloppy.
It was.
The most obvious thing to me when as the game was going on was, as the penalties were racking up, there was no real clear leader. Everybody was kind of just standing there, for lack of a better term, everyone was just standing there with the dick in their hand, like trying to figure out what the fuck to do.
Pretty much.
What I'm saying? Like, there was no one to really step up and be like, yo, we gotta, because it was terrible, man. It was absolutely
and there was no sort of consistency offensively that was there, because after that first drive, it felt as if this was the game. They've won it.
Yeah.
You see the celebrations, everybody's all smiles, and then what happens after that? You got a 5 and out, a 3 and out, a 3 and out, a safety. They go to the half. They'd open up the second half, a 5 and out. They'd score a TD. Yep. Oh, maybe things can turn up. Right. Absolutely not. That's when you had the INT, turnover on downs, INT, turnover on downs. You got to play better.
Right.
You got to play better. You got to be able to move the football.
Right.
There was no sort of there was no balance that was there. On the passing attack, you had seven catches for 71 yards by Odell, 4 for 67 from Jarvis Landry. That can't happen. You got to have more. If you're Baker, you're continually throwing the ball. Get the ball in the hands of your playmakers.
Right.
This is not going to cut it, especially when these guys are top 10 in the league. Get them the football.
Right.
Nick Chubb on the ground, 17 carries, only 75 yards. And it wasn't as if it was a 75 yards that you felt. I think he had a 24-yard run once. Right. And then outside of that, it's 16 carries for 50 yards. It's not doing anything for you.
Absolutely not. And and another point, going back to the effort thing, there was never a point up until the fourth quarter. There was never a point in time where they couldn't have turn the tide. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you look at the score and like, okay, damn, they got shellacked. No, not really. Like from quarter 1 to quarter 3, the game was pretty close. It wasn't until quarter 4 they kind of just came in and was like, yeah, we give up. We're done. Everyone just looked gassed and dazed. Nobody really looked into it. And the Titans just kept scoring. Delaney Walker was having a motherfucking field day. Another person on defense who's definitely putting in work, Cameron Wake. He showed out.
Yes,
definitely
he did.
showed out.
He did.
But all in all, man, you're looking at this team and it's like, bro, this is the team that's supposed to go to the Super Bowl. This is the team that's gonna win the AFC North. It was absolutely terrible.
And their defense completely let me down because Derrick Henry didn't have one of those monster games on the ground. Right. Although he did have that one catch for 75 yards, he took to the crib. The dreadlock powers was on display. And then on the ground, I think he had 84 yards, but he kept picking at the rock the entire time. Yeah. And what surprised me was because originally I had the Browns to win this game because Taylor Lewan, the left tackle for the Pro Bowl left tackle, the All-Pro left tackle.
Taylor Lewan.
For the Titans. He's suspended for the first 4 games.
Wow.
So
PDs.
So since he wasn't there,
you would think.
Oh, Myles Garrett, the entire D-line of the Browns, they about to eat. Yeah. Nah. Yeah. The Browns gave up more sacks than the Titans. I mean, it was 5-4, but still, I expected them to be getting after Marcus Mariota all day. Yeah. That wasn't the case.
He was really just having his way, man. I
think they played well. Delaney Walker only had 5 catches, but it felt like 15.
Yeah. He had like 2 tuds on it.
Yeah, right? 2 touchdowns. I think it was 5 catches, 55 yards, and then the leading receiver was Brown. I think it was
AJ Brown.
Yeah, AJ Brown.
That's another thing. The lazy Denzel Ward. I think he was the one that was on AJ Brown. The first, I don't know if this was the first play of the game, but AJ Brown, I think his first thing was like 55 yards.
Yeah, it was a deep pass,
bruh. And it's like Denzel Ward is right there on him, and he has a chance to take him down, and he kind of just like grabs him, throws him a little bit, and then AJ's just like, all right, fuck it, and it keeps going. The laziness. You understand what I'm saying?
Effort is free. Effort is free. It's the name of the game. The game is it's like 20. I'd say 20% mental.
Right.
About 30%, physical and your physicality and your talents. That's there. It's all tied in together. But 50 is all effort.
Right.
Some can make the argument it's even more effort at like 80. Just make yourself present on the football field. They didn't happen to have that, and that's one of the reasons why they lost. But there's also another reason why I think they lost as well. Because your mans,
my mans, no,
yeah, your mans,
not my mans.
Let me just go out there and what was the brand?
You gotta pronounce it right. Richard Muller. I think that's how you pronounce it. Richard Muller.
Whatever it is, it's more than my house when my parents bought it.
I'm hearing a bunch of different prices though. I'm hearing
over $300K. I'm hearing
$100K. I'm hearing fucking. It's expensive. We know that much. Like, it could be 50. It'd still be expensive.
And this man on the football field putting his life at risk.
Well, let's just break it down for those who don't know. If you weren't aware, Odell Beckham Jr. garnered a little more attention than usual. It wasn't for his hair. It wasn't for the talent. No, it was for a wristwatch that this man decided to come on the field and play with in the opening game against the Titans. When asked about it afterwards, Odell basically, I don't know if this was right after the game or if it was a couple days after, but basically Son came out and was like, if it's not this, it's another thing. And if it was a $20 watch, they would still find something to say. It could have been the way that I tied my shoes. If it was anybody else, they wouldn't have done. Bullshit. Talking a bunch of horse shit. People are still even talking about now. I think, it being Thursday, it's still being a set. And on top of that, not only did he come out and address it, but it said he will continue to wear the watch, which is also a big problem. What were your initial thoughts on that whole situation, even now finding out that he's going to continue to wear the watch and everything?
Well, first I was thinking, hey, maybe he should get one of those small cars that have a lot of space. Get him a large shoe because the man's a clown. All right, the man's a straight up clown. I'm not understanding.
Right.
What is the purpose?
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
You already know you're under this microscope. You know they have this sort of perception about you.
Right.
And you constantly complain about, well, I'm being perceived as this. I'm being perceived as that. There's no reason why I should be looked at like this. I don't even want to bring attention to myself. I want to go out there and play football and win. But then you constantly do things to bring attention to yourself.
Right.
And more importantly, you're wearing this watch. What does that add to it? I understand there's some drip drop that you want to have on the field. All right, you want to have some drip. So that drip drop.
Is that what that is?
The drip drop on the rocks.
Gotcha.
All right, people like to. You look good, you play good. You play good, you get paid good. You get paid good, you live good. You live good, you die good. That's what Deion Sanders took to the Hall of Fame.
It was.
But when Deion Sanders talked, when Deion Sanders did everything, it just had to do with him.
Right.
All right. And more importantly, he was humble about it and how he did it.
Right.
Odell, he complained left and right. I'm doing this. Oh, it's no big deal. There's no reason. If it was somebody, well, obviously, if it was somebody else, because if a random receiver in, let's say, a Buffalo is wearing a watch and they the fifth person on the end of the bench,
ain't nobody
gonna be watching because they probably not gonna be in the game. You are the most followed football player on the planet.
One of the biggest superstars, not just in NFL, but in just the entertainment industry, period. It's a big name.
Anything you do, if you sneeze and it sounds the wrong way.
Right.
Wait, Odell's sneezing. Is he transitioning? We'll find out. Next up, sports.
This guy,
What do you think? What do you think was going to happen? This man, and it's still saying you're going to continue to wear it?
Right.
You got to be kidding me.
You know what? I liken this situation. Initially, when I heard about this situation, I compared it to what happened with D'Angelo Williams a couple years ago, right? And for those of you people who don't know, basically what happened was D'Angelo Williams, every year, the NFL, I think it's October, where they have the breast cancer awareness month, right? Or like all the players wear pink and all this other stuff. D'Angelo Williams' mother, who I believe passed, had breast cancer and unfortunately passed away from breast cancer. And basically, he came to the NFL and was like, yo, look, I don't just want to wear pink for October. I want to wear pink all year long to dedicate this season to my mother that just passed. NFL said no, right? You have a player here that wants to do something different, wear something different from everyone else, not just because, but for a reason, for a purpose, because he wants to dedicate the season. I think it wasn't even just only to his mother, but just breast cancer survivors, period. You understand? Odell Beckham Jr., please explain to me, why do you want to wear this watch? And this goes back to the point that you can't give me a specific, if he came out and he was like, well, you know, my dead cousin Rooney gave this watch to me and I wanted to dedicate. That's a whole nother thing. You can't justify this as anything else besides you being selfish and craving attention. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And this bothers me because for the longest, you know better than I do, wide receivers always get this title of diva and the stereotype of, oh, they all want attention. They all want me. And when it came to him, I didn't necessarily not want to believe it, but I was like, I just couldn't see what it was talking about. I felt like they were overreacting to certain things. But then this shit comes out. I'm like, oh, no. He wants attention.
Oh, yeah.
You understand? You cannot justify why you wanted to wear this watch. And more so than that, this is what bothered me even more. Ryan Clark comes out on Get Up, and he comes out and says, yeah, I just talked to Odell the other day. His opening line was, yeah, I'm all about football. Really? Are you all about football? Because anybody with common sense who's a superstar, not just a superstar, but a superstar in a team-oriented game like football, understands that in order for y'all to do what you claim you are about, which is winning football games, y'all all have to be on the same page. The team has to be focused. When you come and you wear this watch, not being a fucking fifth-string wide receiver, one of the biggest names in the entertainment industry, you know you're going to garner this attention. You understand and recognize that they are going to be what's happening right now. Every news blog page, every publication, every sports and journalist, we're talking about this fucking watch. We're not talking about the performance that you had.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the fact that your team just got shellacked. We're talking about the fact that you came on the field with this watch. And what makes it even more troublesome to me is this man is close friends with LeBron James. If you didn't know it, you have a prime example in Braun. Going back to the point that you made, you have a prime example in Braun, one of the biggest sports icons ever. Anything that this man does, he sneezes the wrong way. They're gonna talk about it. You understand what I'm saying? So if you didn't know, you have a person in your corner like LeBron James. You can say, okay, I'm not him, but I'm a superstar like him. If that's what happened, okay, I gotta make sure that I don't do that. Especially, once again, going back to it, especially in a game as team-oriented as football where everybody has to be on the same page. This move is selfish. It doesn't make sense to me. The fact that he's going to continue to wear the watch only shows that it's beyond just football for him. He's definitely seeking attention, and it just bothers me, bro. It's a big show of ignorance. I hate it.
I agree. It's fitting that he's on the Browns because he's really full of shit. It's terrible. You can't just do stuff like that and then go out and say stuff. It's just completely antithetical for you to go and say, I'm all about football, but then you continue to make these moves for yourself. If it was something like the Antonio Brown situation with him live streaming, where he said, I apologize, all this other stuff, and then you find out on the back end he was getting paid $500,000 to go and live stream.
That's different.
So if Odell was getting a product placement sort of situation and you getting paid, just say that.
Boom.
Just say it's supposed to be a money move and that's it. Then you can move forward. Don't say, I'm just going to continue to wear it because it's not supposed to be a big deal. But if it's somebody, you being a child, man.
Right.
You being a child. It upsets me. It really upsets me. And for the Browns, it's going to affect them moving forward.
Okay.
Because until he goes and he buys into, all right, it's us, it's a team. We got to come together. We got to be able to work as a cohesive unit. It's not one person above it. They're not going to go out there and exceed the expectations or even live up to the expectations that people have for this team because they shooting for the moon.
Yep.
This is a team that ain't been to the playoffs since 2002.
Right.
It's a team that ain't win a playoff game since 95 when Belichick was there.
Right.
You got to be able to come together. Whoever's on that team, whether it's Jarvis, who's his boy, that's your man.
Right.
Y'all went to college together. That's supposed to be your friend, your brother. He got to pull Odell to the side like, yo, I understand. I ain't telling you how to live your life, but if we going to be on this team together and we trying to make it to the playoffs, we trying to win Super Bowls, we trying to go down as the greatest of all time, you got to buy into this system. It can't just be about you.
Right.
You can be big, larger than life. We've seen players be larger than life, but those who go on to win, they know when it's time to go to work, I'm all about work. When I wanted to be about me, you do that through Monday to Saturday. Sunday, that's football. That's team. You commit, you sacrifice all of your personal stuff for your teammates.
Well, now I'm happy you brought that part up because that's also another point that I wanted to get to. What, for you personally, when you look at, I mean, obviously it's still only week one. We have a long season to go. And like I said, looking at their performance against the Titans, I don't think that not taking anything away from the Titans because they definitely play really well. It's less about the Titans beating them and it's more so about the Browns saying like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a little too soon to count them out, right?
I agree.
I was never on the Super Bowl bandwagon, but I was understanding of the proponent of, okay, they can probably get into the playoffs. But now looking at, what we have now, it's not much of a sample size, right? But going off of the week one performance and all the histrionics that are taking place outside of it, what are your expectations for this team down the line, whether it be just this season or just within the near future? What are your thoughts?
I expect them to start out slow as they did. So I think they'll probably be maybe an 0-2, but then now the situation with the Jets, I see them winning that game and possibly get the ball rolling. Because initially I had them at around a 4-2, 5-2 sort of situation, maybe 6-3, and then they're going to hit a wall and drop.
Okay.
So then they'll probably be 500 going into the final month of the season, and they'll either break even or lose a little bit more games than winning. Because I said their ceiling would be 7 games. I don't think they're going to have an above 500 record because having all these different personalities that are here, and then you have a first-year head coach in Kitchens and expecting him to be able to keep all of that, bottled up and make it work as a cohesive unit. I think it'll be too much for them, but I think they'll start out very slow as they did, and then they'll reach a point in which they're starting to ascend. Adversity will hit. Tempers will flare. That's going to cause them to lose some games. And then they're going to be in a situation where not necessarily they control their own destiny.
Right.
But if they win, you can get to where you want to go.
Right.
But it's going to be a 50-50 situation and probably 8-8, 7-9. That's where I see them. I don't see them going to the postseason, though.
I think that, and this is why I'm so passionate about this OBJ watch situation, because I think that this is a microcosm of what there is on this team, which is that there's no real leadership yet. Nobody's really established himself as, I'm the guy that's going to call people out. I'm the guy that's going to hold people accountable. You would think that it would be Kitchens, but no, it's not him. You would think that it would be Mayfield, given all this. We know him to be this big, charismatic talker guy. We saw all the antics that he put up last year against Hugh Jackson and all the other shit. It doesn't seem like it was him either. So I think that when you talk about this team, obviously we look at the depth chart, whole bunch of talent. But at the end of the day, football is so many other different components, and one of it is you have to have a clear-cut leader.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have that, mainly because of, like, you going back to your point, all the different egos and personalities and that's present on that team. So for me, I think that I don't know. I'm not gonna say yet if I think they're making the playoffs or not this year. Maybe we'll see. Only time will tell.
Okay.
But in terms of long term, I wouldn't be going beyond the season. I wouldn't be surprised if we see either Odell or Jarvis request a trade or leave.
I agree.
You understand what I'm saying? I think that if they don't make the playoffs this year, then next year, frustration and tempers will flare and things of that nature. People will be calling maybe for Kitchens to lose his job, and you'll have situations like Odell or Jarvis feeling like they're not getting enough touches or saying this, that, and the third in the media, and then eventually someone's either going to get traded or request a trade, and then from there, that'll be the dissension.
Yeah, because we've seen teams that have an overabundance amount of talent have a superstar say, all right, I've had enough here, I want to leave. So I wouldn't be surprised if Odell tries to force his way out of his contract or Jarvis tries to, depending on what their contract situation is. Similar to Antonio Brown.
Oh, another from Brown to Brown.
Yeah, from Brown to Brown, because they're both full of shit. So with AB, him getting out of Oakland. Now, I made a video about this, regarding, you know, his actions and how he went about everything. And his departure from Oakland, I can't think of anything more than betrayal. Now, the only thing is that I think recently they said John Gruden evidently approved of him being able to post
phone call.
Yes, so that was that one kind of caught me off guard. Like, all right, but still, with that approval that's there, it just goes to continue to prove my theory of John Gruden was the only person in that locker room, in that organization, who truly had this man's back through and through and really allowed this man to do anything. He allowed him to do anything. And still, Antonio did not want to be there.
It was almost kind of uncomfortable.
It was.
To a point, man. It's like Abe, when the phone call thing came out and John Gruden was questioning about it, he was like, well, I think that's awesome. And you're kind of looking at it like, is this the same John Gruden from a couple years? Like, you understood why he took the approach he did, because this man is in the business of winning football games, right? Yeah. And you understood what having a talent and a player like Antonio Brown meant to this team, especially on the offensive side of the ball, with people, you know, questioning Derek Carr's, you know, all that other stuff. But it's like, at what point do you look at it and say, like, nah, this guy isn't worth, as much as talented as he is, he's not worth the trouble that he brings. You see, you had the situation with going all the way back to the cryotherapy situation with the feet, and then you have the fucking getting into damn near trying to fight Mayock.
Trying to fight Mayock. Then you have the helmet thing, calling him a cracker.
The helmet situation, all this different stuff. The way that he handled this situation, for me, goes beyond football. And then to see the way that he handled the situation, then seeing, you know, where he ended up, which we're going to get to a little bit later and things like that. For me, it goes beyond football, because it's like, how do you look at a guy like this who came into the team and he with open arms, like, I want to be here, and got everything he wanted, by the way. It's not like he came, but it was like a half. He got the guaranteed money. He went to the team. I think before he ended up in Oakland, there was talks of him going to Buffalo. He's like, nah.
Yeah, he didn't want to go to Buffalo. He said, oh, send me to San Francisco. But you didn't get sent to San Francisco, but you still in California.
You understand what I'm saying? And ended up where he wanted, got the guaranteed money, was over here talking about, well, Mr. Gruden, and I'm excited to be here, and I've wanted to be here. Even on the phone call, I wanted to be a Raider since day one. You get there, you act a fool. You understand what I'm saying? Get yourself released just to end up in the other place. Which man, I mean, nothing short of disgusting.
It reminded me of Coming to America.
Really?
And yeah, because the in the movie there was a situation in which Eddie, his character, and it says it was the selective wives sort of situation, and Eddie was like, well, I don't want a woman who could just do everything that I wanted to do, and they were like, bark like a dog. She started jumping.
Yeah.
Oakland was jumping on a leg all day, doing whatever AB wanted.
Happy.
And John Gruden, I'll say this much, because he's in the business of winning, and he understands, because it's not as if this man can't hear what people are saying.
Right.
Because he came in 1 year, and people thought he was just going to take him back to the playoffs, take him to the Super Bowl. No, but he's trying to change the culture in Oakland. And although Antonio did all of this other stuff, despite that, he put his trust in him. My biggest issue with Antonio was this. You said in Pittsburgh your problem was, well, you and Ben Roethlisberger, that was one of the things that stemmed, but it was a big reason why. And you said, well, Big Ben never came to my house. I never went to his house. What's the first thing you did when you signed in Oakland? You went to Derek Carr's house.
Right.
Derek Carr introduced you to his wife, introduced you to his kids. His kids played with you. Now, regardless of what you did to get out your contract, because I'm always on the player's side when it comes to contractual obligation and how the team can trade you whenever. They can cut you whenever. They can screw you over whenever. So I always look at it, I give power to the players. If they want to force their way out of contract, you go and do it. But how you go about it, that's the problem that I have with it.
Right.
Because if you did all of this and never made any connection with your teammates, no problem. Whatever. Do what you got to do to go. I may not agree with it, but I respect the reasoning behind it. Don't go over here and tell your teammates all this extra lip service, and then you just go behind their back and then go and dip. And it's, well, screw you guys. And then when Derek Carr's brother came out and David Carr had something to say, then he's going to write I think he wrote bumper cars on Twitter, just making fun of the situation. Don't do that. Don't do it, because you a snake from the start. As you said, if I'm this man's teammate, if I'm this man's friend, anything, how can I take him serious? I can't take a word of that he says serious. And it really, for me, it affects his legacy moving forward.
Yes, he does.
Because how do you judge this man And because with the Hall of Fame now, it's not all based on statistics anymore.
XTO.
XTO, exactly. He's not even first ballot. And then on top of that, if it was all about just football, Darren Chopper may be in prison right now for rape. Yeah. He should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame because there's no way you talk about greatest safeties of all time and you don't bring up somebody like Darren Chopper.
Most definitely.
You have to. Yep. There's a ton of different players who their numbers were absolutely ridiculous, but they didn't get in.
Right.
Antonio Brown, he's a perennial All-Pro. What happened this past year? Because of his antics and not playing in the final game and quitting on his team, he wasn't even eligible to make the All-Pro list.
Right.
And if you think them taking away All-Pro won't start to stem down from them taking away Hall of Fame, they will.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with things continuing to fall down and crumble the way that they are.
Right.
Because what just happened this week, man got accused of rape.
Yep.
So
on three different
occasions, and there's screenshots, there's text messages from this man talking about, you were sleeping, so I just not on your back. Like, come on.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah, there was screenshots.
I saw.
It's there. Yeah. So this man, I don't know what the deal's gonna be moving forward, but his legacy is gonna forever be tarnished.
Right.
Now it's gonna be a black stain on this man's career.
And what makes it even worse, it'd be one thing if this is happening on the last legs of it. The man is still in his prime. Do you understand what I'm saying? The man is there. He was, and when you look at, and you've talked about this religiously. When you looked at the situation that they had in Pittsburgh, you're talking about a Hall of Fame quarterback, right, in Big Ben. You're talking about an all-world talent before he left in Le'Veon Bell. A great head coach, Mike Tomlin. Amazing, pristine, first-class front. He had everything they needed. Obviously, they had to go through the big bad monster that was New England, which is why, and also injuries and all this other bullshit, why they never really made it back to Super Bowl. All that. We can go into all that. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, you look at the situation that man was in, you couldn't have dreamed for anything better than what AB had at his disposal. He leaves that, forces his way out of that, goes to a team that he claims he wants to get to, goes there, acts nothing but a fool before the season even starts. Didn't even play a snap for these people. Was over here missing practices and training camp, all this other bullshit, posting pictures of the fines and all this shit. Gets out of there, gets released from there, gets signed by New England, and now he's there. Now you have to sit there and wonder, okay, what is this man's legacy really going to be when it's all said and done? Because he still has years to play, yes, most definitely. Yeah. But now you have this case looming over his head. I don't know if it was reported to the police or not.
That's what they're waiting on. Because that's what I'm waiting on too. Right. Because if once they release that, and then if it had been done and then it was kept under wraps, it's over for him.
Right.
But if it never happened, still, it's an accusation. It's one of the reasons why I think Roger Goodell will probably put him on the exempt list. Because Adrian Peterson, he got put on the exempt list for his kids, and NFL is zero tolerance after the situation with Brown, the kicker who used to kick for the Giants, and all the domestic violence. There is zero tolerance for that. And if you think rape is about to be allowed, especially when somebody makes an accusation, it's about to be clipped for him. If he plays a game, Roger Goodell really wilding because he was suspending people left and right off accusation alone.
So now my question to you is this: if he gets put on the players exempt list, Patriots release him, do you think another team picks him up after that if he gets off the list?
A team will definitely sign him, but they're going to be waiting to see what will happen afterwards. Okay. Because he apparently, like his agent said, a ton of teams were calling for him.
Right.
Now they're going to wait because again, an accusation it's not an indictment.
Right.
So they're going to wait for the results of the case.
Right.
If it comes back that he is indeed innocent, he's going to end up on a team.
Right.
But if not, it's over for him.
Right. So now my question to you is this, right? Let's hypothetically speaking, let's just forget about all the off the field antics and things like that. Fact of the matter is, as of right now, and it was reported today, he's practicing, he's doing all that.
Yep.
Antonio Brown is a New England Patriot. He's on that team. He's a part of that receiver group of Dorsett and Josh Gordon, Edelman, the whole nine. All the extra stuff aside, football alone. When you look at AB and his place and what's going on in New England, how do you think he fits into that system?
For one, he's going to have to be comfortable with assimilating into not catching 100 balls and going down to about 80, 70 because he still does demand the ball.
Right.
Now, if he does go in there and acquiesces to the system against his will, it's going to be pretty evident because he is a very emotional player. But if he just goes in there like, all right, I'm just going to catch a couple of balls. I'm not going to score touchdowns because, mind you, this is the same guy who said, I want to catch Jerry Rice. So So he's got to be comfortable with, well, the ball's not going to come my way every single time. Because Tom Brady, if you watch Tom Brady play over the course of the last 5 years, it's not the same way that he played when he had Randy Moss. Right. Randy Moss was going deep. He was throwing bombs. Right. He's not doing that. Tom Brady is dinking and dunking and better than anybody in history at doing it. And their system is extremely successful for that. Right. So I wouldn't be surprised if I see AB start working the slot way more than he does outside. So they're probably going to use him like that. And he's not going to have over 100+ yards per game. He has to be comfortable with just getting 60 or 70, but ending in W's.
Well, the fact that you say that lets you already know how things are going to play on New England. Oh, yeah. He's not going to be comfortable with that. You understand what I'm saying? Granted, a lot of people are looking at this and saying, well, this is Bill Belichick's greatest test ever because he's never done. And Bill came out and he compared it to Randy Moss. I don't think this is anything.
It's nothing like it. It's nothing like it.
And you want to know what makes it even worse? The social media thing takes it to whole other heights. Because back then, you didn't have that, right? Yeah. You understand? But now it's like everything is being publicized and he said, she said, and all this stuff. And he himself isn't even making it any better.
Oh, yeah.
Because man's fucking talking and posting memes and doing all those.
And to make things a little bit different with the Randy Moss thing, Randy Moss was coming away from Oakland, where he had 2 abysmal seasons. Right. Well, at least the first season he had over 1,000 yards, barely, I think. But it was one of those where they was questioning, oh, does he still have it if he's falling out of his prime? Right. So even though he got traded for nothing to go to New England, people were questioning, is he still the same Randy Moss? Right. Nobody is questioning if this is the same Antonio Brown. He just came off 6 consecutive seasons of 100 catches or more. Nobody in NFL history has ever done that. Right. Every single year, over 1,200 yards. Every single year, averaging about 10 touchdowns. The man, his numbers since 2013 has been the best receiver in the game, and he had 3 years in which he wasn't even a starter. Right. So there's no question as to he's a top 3 receiver in the league. And top 3, it's not even arguable. Right. You can't have a conversation about the top 3 receivers because it's D-Hop, it's Julio, it's AB. And AB has unanimously been in the 1 or 2 conversation with Julio Jones. Right. D-Hop the last 2 years has been absolutely sensational. So he's forced his way in there. And Michael Thomas is on the way up. But he is still that talent. I don't know if he's going to be willing to succumb to that Patriot system. But the Patriots, either way, whether they have him or they don't have him, it's like cornbread. It's like cornbread. Whether it's on my plate or off my plate, I'm good. So the way the Patriots, whether they got him or they don't, this is probably one of their most talented teams that they had in years. Easily.
Years. And would you say that AB is the best offensive weapon that Brady has had since Moss? Would you even argue that he's a better offensive weapon than Moss? No.
I would say a better offensive weapon than Moss. No. Okay. But I don't even think Moss is the best offensive weapon that Brady ever had.
You say Gronk?
Gronk is the best offensive weapon because Gronk was uncoverable. Moss had his day. Moss was killing people, but Gronk is something different. Okay, because Moss could go into slot. He wasn't really a slot receiver. Like, you can move Gronk all over the place, and on top of that, Gronk gives you blocking too. So if you need to run the ball and Brady makes his checks, Gronk is going to lay somebody the hell out. And now they don't have Gronk, and still they look dangerous. Because what did they just do to my Pittsburgh Steelers? They just rubbed their nutsack all over them. All over.
I don't want to introduce it like
that.
Well,
I'm still picking the hairs of the Negro receivers, the affirmative action on the receiving corps off my Pittsburgh Steelers back.
I don't want to introduce it like that, but if we're going to get into it, man, what happened?
What happened? Okay, I can tell you right now.
I know you about to.
I'll make this very brief. It's only 2 minutes. I'll make this very brief. No, first and foremost, there was no balance on offense. We could not convert on a third down. We couldn't stop the Patriots on a damn third down. We could not tackle at all. I can't count how many times I saw Josh Gordon catch the ball and people just bounced off him. I don't know who activated their trap card mirror force, but it was air apparent this particular game. On top of that, only 1 time did they get to Tom Brady, let alone touch this man. That was T.J. Watt, who just had an endless motor. Outside of that, the defensive line was getting absolutely bopped. They put a lot of effort in. Out of the entire defense, that was the only unit that was working, but they could not get anything done. James Conner had 10 carries. He only had about 21 yards. Nothing. Abysmal. They didn't even try to run the ball. On top of that, there's an individual who's playing wide receiver, not Juju Smith-Schuster, because this man gets the number 1 wide receiver treatment when you play against the New England Patriots. They're going to take you out of the game. But the number 2 receivers and number 3 and number 4 should be able to go out there and play. Dante Moncrief came out, and Pittsburgh understood this. And what did they do? They went to this man. 10 targets. 10 targets, 3 catches, 25 yards. You dropped the pass. You didn't hold on to it. The defense hit it out of your hand. You're in the goal line situation on 3rd and goal. They throw you the ball. You turn the wrong way. You looked inside. He looked inside. The ball's coming outside. What are you looking inside for? This is not a quarter appointment. You're looking outside. Catch the ball. I did the exact same route when I was in college. For 2 years, I heard it. This is the first scrimmage of my college career. Yeah. I did something like that. I heard about it for 2 consecutive years. If Dante Moncrief's not hearing Mike Tomlin in his ear on his voicemail every single day, I got an issue with that. But he got to go out there and play better football. Yeah. Defensively, the secondary was absolutely abysmal. Yeah. All right, it wasn't. They went out there and played like garbage. Okay, and the issue that I have with the defense of the Pittsburgh Steelers is for the last 6 years, the secondary has been terrible. Yep. All right, and it makes no sense to me for Mike Tomlin, who was a defensive back coach who won a Super Bowl ring with John Gruden in Tampa Bay, to go out there and constantly have a terrible secondary. It makes absolutely no sense to me. It's as a 7, as a 8, as a 9 to have this team defensively have the same issue and offensively get shellacked like that. Now, I understand New England is extremely talented. They're extremely stout. In my opinion, they have one of the top 2 secondaries in the league along with the Baltimore Ravens. Okay. The defensive line, magnifique. Yep. Okay, you got Wakanda forever. And Michael Bennett up front, too.
Van Noy wasn't playing.
And he wasn't playing. Oh, my daughter, I don't need to play. I got to make sure my new child, let me just hold my baby. Oh, they smacked the Steelers? I expected none less. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Offensively, they had their way. Left tackle, who was out all of last year, came back, blocked his buttocks off. Bud Dupree's hair never passed the damn line of scrimmage. It was absolute domination. Yeah. All types of necrophilia. The Pittsburgh Steelers were dead, but somehow found a way to still get fucked. You can let me know what you thought.
You want to know what's funny? The people that tune into this podcast that are fans of yours know that you do this on the reg. The people who tune in that know me, like, was that scripted? Like, that was all off the top, the numbers, everything. He does this on the regular. And it's always funny when like, this is I think my first time seeing it live, that just your ability to just rant and just go nonstop, no break. It's impressive. It's absolutely impressive.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
The man is a football encyclopedia. I can't do what the fuck he just did. So I'm gonna just dumb it down. I'm going to just go off the eye test because I was fortunate enough to watch the game. I wasn't really watching it all that intensely, but I got a chance to check it out. It was hard to watch, man. It was hard to watch. Once again, going back to it, they were definitely dominated, but even more so than that, you just look in the face of people like Big Ben and even Juju and some of the players, nobody came to play, man. Everybody was just dazed and confused and getting shellacked from let me use your term. Everyone was getting smacked and shellacked to the east, to the west, back to the east, back to the west, back to the east again. It was. I had to. No, I'm sorry. I had. No, it was really, really bad, man. It was really, really bad, man. And you talk about the secondary. I mean, my goodness, Julian Edelman was doing whatever the fuck that he wanted to do. The front, you guys' defensive line, Rex Burkhead was out there looking like he was playing his out. The Patriots did any and everything that they wanted to do. Stephen Gilmore locked Juju's asses down. Dante Moncrief, we're still looking for him. We don't know where he is. The performance that he put on wasn't even a performance. He was just on the field, just to be on the field. It was bad. It was really, really bad. But my question to you now is this. Given the performance that they had in week 1, right? Is it, and I'm talking about the Patriots, not the Steelers. Sorry for you, Steelers. Is it a safe bet? Is it safe to assume that it's about to be another cakewalk to the Super Bowl again this year, barring injury?
Barring injury, I would say I wouldn't say cakewalk, but in their division, of course. Yeah, but they're the favorites.
Wait,
without question.
In the division, you have no faith in the Miami Dolphins? You don't think?
Miami Dolphins?
The Miami Dolphins. You don't think? Buffalo Bills. They got
Buffalo Bills.
The New York Jets. You don't feel like?
New York Jets. Oh, with Sam Darnold. Oh, wait, let me go make out with him. Oh, I got mono. I can't play. So, basically, the Buffalo Bills, they shutting down Wild Wings. The New York Jets, well, they out of fuel. 9/11 just passed. And on top of that, with the Miami Dolphins, well, we don't deal with any sort of animals calling South Park, fuck you, Dolphin, and we stabbing them to death. The Patriots going to continue to reign their supreme over the AFC East. But the question, as most people have alluded to, there should be some people raising their eyebrows to, can the Patriots go undefeated? Right. Now, I think they will face adversity left or right. It will come. I don't know in what form. I just feel as if it always does happen, especially for this Bill Belichick regime in this side of the decade. But I think they're going to find themselves in the AFC Championship again because every team in the AFC has question marks outside of the Patriots. Right. Because the Patriots just have question marks of who else is coming. Right. There's no question marks of, who's missing. Everybody is there. Right. It's just, who's coming back? There's no sort of subtraction that is missing. This is one of their most talented groups. I think they can go all the way again.
Easily.
And
with or without AB.
Yeah, with or without AB. With or without Gronk coming back. Hell, Van Noy wasn't even there, and defensively they were operating on all cylinders. Now, granted, they're a different team on the road than they are on at home. True. So I'm interested to see how things play out on the road. But if that offensive line can perform the way that they did, because as I always say, Pittsburgh has one of the better front sevens in the league. And that O-line protected they ass off.
Right.
Now, I don't know whether if that's just Pittsburgh didn't have the effort, which I agree they did not.
Right.
But if that O-line can perform the way that they did, it's over. Because if Brady has an overabundance of time to stand back there and surgically go down the field, it's clipped.
It's over.
It's OD. So yeah, I have them going as far as they want to. But I see them in the AFC Championship.
Before we move on, I don't want to make you emotional, but going once again back to your Steelers. Like you said, week one, you don't want to be quick to judge anybody's season over one game, even though they got shellacked and shat all over. What do the Steelers need to do moving forward, I guess, to revive themselves and I don't want to say save their season. Like I said, it's only one game. But
it's only one game.
Yeah, but what do the Pittsburgh Steelers need to do moving forward to turn the tide for things this upcoming season?
Well, first and foremost, before I say that, the way I analyze football, or I should say the way football should be analyzed, it shouldn't go by a week-by-week basis. You should go by a sample size, so you go quarter by quarter. So first 4 games, after the first month of the season, you'll have an idea of how certain teams play. Because coming out of the offseason, coming out of the preseason, the starters don't usually play like that.
Right.
So they may have that chemistry, but they're not always a well-oiled machine. One of the reasons why you saw so many blowouts in week 1. There was really only about 4 or 5 competitive games out of 16. True. Everything else was just, teams were getting clapped. So sometimes there was upsets. Other times, teams that were good, they continued to play that way.
Right.
So it takes some time. Right. But with Pittsburgh, I think they'll be fine. They needed to get their ass whooped to go and respond.
Right.
But I think getting beat the way that they did, it wasn't necessarily like, we're not good enough, all this other stuff. First, effort. And then 2, those who have their position to make things happen, they have to execute. Because I was actually impressed by the defensive coaching that was there. I was impressed by the offensive coaching. Guys just ain't execute. Right. There were drop balls. Yes. There were some people who ran their routes too short. There was some duck passes from Ben. Right. There was overthrows from Ben. And in the secondary, the starting safety, Sean Davis, ain't play. It was some next dude who we ain't even know he's going to make the team. And he was back there. Somebody need to get, somebody need to get something. I can't forget what his name. I hope they get out the scissors. Cut that man. Get Eric Berry on the phone. I don't care if the man been hurt. You saw J.J. Watt 2 back-to-back seasons where he was out and then he come back and he was all-pro. Eric Berry was all-pro. He had 2 back-to-back seasons where he was hurt. This could be one of those comeback stories. Now, it doesn't all work out like that, but hey, this is somebody who's on the street who you know can play football. It's just questions of his health. Bring him in. Thomas Davis had 3 straight years with an ACL. He could not play. His lower extremities was failing, but you saw him come back and he was a Pro Bowler. Give these guys a chance. But Pittsburgh, what they need to do is get back to Pittsburgh Steelers football. You don't need to keep throwing the football with Big Ben. He said this season there's no reason for him to be throwing 5,000 yards because if you just throw for 4,400 yards and you hand the ball and you get over 1,000 yards on the ground and you're picking up wins, that's what matters. Run the ball, play a balanced attack, and defensively get back to Pittsburgh Steelers football, blitz and play man coverage. Put it on the secondary to go out there and play. That's how they'll get around. Get back to traditional Pittsburgh Steelers football. Hard-nosed defense, smash mouth football on offense. Run the ball, pass effectively, protect Ben, hit people in the mouth, catch interceptions. You'll win games.
You know what I'm saying? If your team want to learn a little something about defense, I can get on the phone with DC. Not Washington D.C. Dallas Cowboys. We could teach y'all a thing or two. You know what I'm saying? What we doing over here? Well, you know, we not the only team that's out here showing up. We got a couple teams, right? Got some games coming up, and this upcoming week 2. Granted, today we're filming this, if we're being honest, on a Thursday, right? The Buccaneers.
On a Friday actually, yeah, because
Friday.
Yesterday the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers played in Carolina, Bank of America Stadium, where we saw Cam and the boys take an L.
Yeah.
They lost 20-14, and I'll say this much regarding the game. I was disappointed with how Cam played. You can still see that he was working on his mechanics, but he did not show anything. Now, he may be banged up, but he said himself he's not going to use it as an excuse. He was out there, and I also agree. If you're on the field, you got to go out there and you got to play. But my issue was with North Turner because with the offensive play calls, and I made a joke about it in my commentary video, North Turner drafted Christian McCaffrey on his fantasy team, and Cam made a joke talking about that's one of the reasons why we're not throwing the ball down the field. Well, guess what happened this particular game? They ain't really stretched the ball down the field. They had Cam continually doing what he did last year, and that's just trying to dink and dunk. And more importantly, Cam ain't try to use his legs at all.
I mean, it could be, he's not older, right? I think he's only like 30.
He's 30 now. He just turned 30.
But for quarterbacks like him who are mobile, right? And who has taken as much damage as he did. We know he has the issues with the shoulder. I think there's also something about his foot, I'm hearing.
Yeah, something like ankle or something like foot.
There's also the psychological element of it, too, where it's like on one end, he's trying to prove to everyone. He hears the talks about people questioning his mechanics and his ability to put the ball down the field and accuracy and stuff like that. So it's the one side of it was like, okay, I'm going to show y'all I could hold it down. But there's also the side of it to where it's like, bro, I've been getting fucked up for quite some time now. It's like, I got to slow it down, right? And everyone, and I'm pretty sure the coaching staff and the things and the people around him and coordinators are trying to put together game plans to where he doesn't have to, be as mobile as he was before. But all in all, it was 2014?
No, 20-14, and his left tackle did him no favors because whoever Shaquille Barrett, I believe the last name was Shaquille Barrett. Shaquille. I think it was Quill.
No,
I think it was Quill.
Shaquille Barrett.
Shaquille, whatever it was. This man, because he was looking like Shaq out there. You looking like Diesel, because all he did was assault this man. Whatever charge they had on Antonio Brown, they need to put that on that man, because he was out there straight up assaulting Cam Newton.
Right.
Okay, killing this man. It was bad. Terrible. It was bad.
Outside of that game, we got some other games coming up this upcoming Sunday. So what we're going to do is do a quick, now I want to say rapid fire. We're going to run down the list, give our quick predictions. If you want to predict the score, you can't predict the score. But for the upcoming games for week 2, who you got winning, who you got losing. We're going to start off with the Cardinals at Baltimore. Who you got?
Oh, it's going to be an emotional game for Terrell Suggs finally going back to Baltimore. Yeah. But it's going to be another shellacking for the Ravens. They're playing against what was the worst team in the league last year. Now, the Cardinals, did they improve from last year? I would like to hope so. But, Baltimore's defense is not about to play no games.
Oh, they about to tear that offensive line up.
The home opener and Kyler Murray's walking in. Yeah, Baltimore's about to roll. Do I think that Lamar Jackson's going to have the same performance he did in week 1 against the Fins? No, but I got Baltimore winning.
I got Baltimore winning as well. That offensive line is doo-doo. That front seven is going to have a field day chasing little 5'5" or 5'8". We don't really know. Kyler Murray around the field. I got Baltimore coming out on top. Okay. I think that even though he won't have the same performance he had against the Dolphins, I think we're going to see another performance by Lamar Jackson where he's going to show us that he really has and truly has been working on his passing, and he's not a running back as they've been trying to crown him.
Fair enough, because on top of that, the Cardinals don't have Patrick Peterson, so there's no real secondary that's there.
How long is he suspended for?
8 games, I believe.
8 games? Oh,
8 games. It might be 6. I don't know if he appealed and get 6, but from the last I saw, it was 8 games.
Lamar Jackson about to have a field.
Oh yeah. Next up, your boys.
Come on, man.
Dallas.
Come on.
Dallas.
What's the discussion? Go ahead. Ask the question.
Dallas traveling to Washington.
Come on, man.
On the Redskins that blew a 17-point lead over the Philly. So who do you have winning that game?
Hey, you know what's crazy? I'm surprised. Funny enough, I'm actually a little bit nervous about this game. Granted, they did blow a 17-point lead to the Eagles, but they showed some flashes of some things I'm a little bit concerned about. Granted, Geis is out, so now AP is back.
Oh, yes, Adrian Peterson's back.
I don't know why the fuck he was inactive for the first game. They tried their hardest to get Geis. I don't get it. Man had 1,000 yards last year, and absolutely ridiculous. They tried their hardest. Disrespectful beyond explanation. They tried their hardest to get Geis active early on in the game. They were really pushing to run the ball. Of course, he got the meniscus thing, and that he's out. AP's back. I'm concerned. I'm genuinely concerned. I think that we're still going to come out with a dub, but I think it's going to be a closer game than most people are giving it out to be. Going to be might be low scoring, but I got the Cowboys coming out with that. Who you got?
I agree. I got the Cowboys winning that game as well. I think AP is going to have a field day. I think although they're going to load the box, no. Let me explain why. Because he's a highly motivated guy, and more importantly, when he was inactive for the first week, you saw you had a little bit of spillage. You saw the teammates of the Redskins come to bat for him like, yo. Yeah. You should have had him here. Why is he inactive? So now that he's playing, I know that team's going to be motivated. More importantly, the fact that they blew a lead in a game that they controlled and on the road. And now it's their home opener, and now Dallas is firing on all cylinders. But I don't expect the same performance from Dak that I saw but he's going to do just enough to go get the W. I predict a close game, but I think Dallas is going to come out and win.
Next up, you got the Colts at the Titans, an AFC South matchup. Me personally, I'm going to go with the Titans on this one. I think they're going to be rolling hot off of their Week 1 win against the Browns. They're a physical team. They're going to get Derrick Henry active. You're definitely going to see. I don't know. I've never really been hot on Marcus Mariota like that.
Neither have I.
So I think they're going to be looking to run the ball a whole lot in this game. But I got the Titans coming out. What you got?
Yeah, I got the Titans winning too. I wanted to say the Colts because if Andrew Luck was playing, Andrew Luck never lost against the Titans from what I remember.
Really?
But the one season in which he wasn't playing and it was Jacoby Brissett who was playing, they lost both times.
Okay.
So now the offensive line is way better than it was back then. But just something about the Titans in Tennessee and Derrick Henry being in Tennessee, he always plays well when he's at home. I expect him to go out there and do dirt. And on top of that, Austin Elker, when the Chargers played against the Colts last week, he had 58 yards on the ground. He had 96 yards through the air. Gotcha. So, and you just saw Derrick Henry score a 75-yard touchdown through the air, and he ran for 84. So if running backs is doing that against the Colts defense, what makes you think that Derrick Henry, who is this big-bodied, creative player sort of dude, he about to go out there? I'm about to go crazy. Like a man on No November just ended his December 1st. No November's done. All right? I said no November. No.
Try saying that 3 times. No, not November.
So yeah, Derrick Henry gonna go out there, and I think the Tennessee Titans gonna go and get that W. I think Jacoby Brissett is probably gonna turn the ball over a couple of times to that secondary.
Yeah, he's gonna have a field day with him. Next up, Seahawks at Steelers. Man, I think this is. I'm gonna go with the Steelers on this one. It's really hard for me to imagine that a Mike Tomlin-led team is going to go back the first game on Heinz Field for this year after the performance they just had, not highly motivated, and come out playing their butts off. I'm going with the Steelers on this one, man.
Yeah, I'd have to go lean towards Pittsburgh as well. And originally, because Seattle's it's one of those teams that they'll fight till the end. All right. And last game they had a very tough game against Cincinnati. Now Cincinnati, they should have went out there and not clapped Cincinnati, but it should have been one of those games in which you feel comfortable. But it was a back and forth sort of game. But then mental errors too, because they went touchdown for touchdown, turnover for turnover, and then sack for sack. Yeah. So because I saw Russell Wilson go onto the ground 4 times or 5 times, it was Cincinnati or whatever it was, 4 or 5 times. But because that's the case, Steelers defense is going to be highly motivated, and it's the home opener, and they never really play bad at home. So I think Pittsburgh's going to go out there. They're going to establish the run. And on the pass, John Ross had over 150 yards and 2 TDs. If you think Juju's not about to take advantage of what he just saw John Ross do to the Seahawks secondary, I think Pittsburgh's going to go out there. They're going to go and get that W. But Russell Wilson's going to put on a performance, and I think it's going to become like a shootout sort of situation because they're going to take advantage of that Steelers secondary. I think it's going to go down to the last 2 sort of possessions. I think this game going to be in the 30s, but I got the Pittsburgh Steelers winning.
Boom. Then you got honestly, this is one of those Bills at Giants. I don't know.
The Bills.
It don't matter. I mean, both two bad teams. I'm gonna go with. I don't know. Maybe Saquon goes off this game. I don't know. Fucking Giants, maybe? Does it really matter?
I would say Saquon goes off this game, but yeah, I would say Saquon goes off this game, but Le'Veon had a decent game last game, but then with Saquon, you just saw a situation in which the Giants did not get him the ball enough. So they said, we're going to give him the ball. So hopefully they do give the ball to him, but I got the Bills winning this game.
Boom. After that, you got the Niners at the Bengals.
This game could go either way. I think it could go either way, but I'm leaning towards Cincinnati. I think I'm going to continually lean towards Cincinnati. I did like how the 49ers defense did crunch down, catch 2 pick sixes against Jameis in week 1.
Their first interception since 2017, I believe.
Oh, well, there it is. So, yeah, I'm interested to see how that'll play out. I still have some concerns and questions about Jimmy Garoppolo, so I'm interested to see how that plays out too. But with him, if he can get the ball into the hands of Kittle, if he can get the ball into those guys' hands and bring the ball down the field, I don't see why they shouldn't be able to beat Cincinnati. But Andy Dalton did play absolutely magnificent this past week, over 400 yards. He threw a couple touchdowns. Yeah. But I'm going to lean towards Cincinnati going and win this one at home, although the 49ers do look, impressive. Something about Cincinnati this year, they kind of surprising me.
It's a coin toss thing for me. I'm going to go with the Niners. I'm feeling, once again, coming up. I think their win, for me, does more for them than. Well, I mean, no, fuck it. Niners. Let's go Niners.
Okay.
Bears at Broncos. That's an interesting one.
I got the Bears winning this one.
That's it?
The Bears got this one. Joe Flacco got sacked.
Where's the respect?
Against the Oakland. He got smacked left and right against Oakland. He held on to the ball too long. The Bears defense is highly motivated.
Okay.
If you're going to hold the ball for longer than 3 seconds, you're fixing to get smacked. I have no real confidence in the Bears offense like that, but you can run the ball against this Broncos defense, and because that's the case, you're going to give the Bears their strong suit, which is running the ball and playing defense. They got this game, no problem.
I got the Bears.
Yep.
Then we got the Browns at the Jets. I got the Browns winning this one. Same reason as the Steelers. I think that you come off of a game that they did. Like I said, the Titans. Not to take anything away from the Titans, but the Browns beat themselves. They didn't get beat, and I think that they hear all the talk, they hear all the chirping. I would hope that, granted, as we know, Sam Darnold's not going to be there. They have any and every reason to win this game. If they don't, it's going to be a terrible look for them. So I think they're going to come out with the dub in this one.
Yeah, I got the Browns as well. Chargers and the Lions. I'm taking the Chargers on the road.
I'm going to take the Chargers. I'll roll with the Chargers.
Fair enough.
Then we got Vikings at Packers. Okay.
This is going to be a very nice game.
Yeah.
I got Green Bay winning at home. It's always a competitive game.
Yeah.
It can really go either way, but I was really impressed at how Green Bay's defense played. And on top of that, you got to remember Kirk Cousins doesn't really play as well when he plays against an elite quarterback. So because of that and given that history, I think the Packers are going to go out there and win. And it's at Lambeau. Aaron Rodgers playing at Lambeau. It's not even fair. Past couple of years, it's been a little bit rocky, but he hasn't been healthy. But this year, he's healthy. I expect the Packers to go out there and win.
I'm rolling with the Packers, too. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to show out. Like you said, it's at Lambeau. It's kind of hard for me to pick him at home against, the Vikings. I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers. Jaguars at Texans. I got the Texans with this one. I mean, the Jaguars literally took one step forward to take 2 steps back. Yep. They get their guy in Nick Foles, and unfortunately, I think he broke his clavicle. Or something like that. I don't know who they're back. Who they signed?
Minshew, and they traded for Dobbs.
Yeah, that was Pittsburgh's backup quarterback, right? I mean, man, listen. Once again, one step forward to take 2 steps back. It's really hard for me to pick again. Listen, by the way, can we just talk? Deshaun Watson in that game against the Saints, absolutely sensational. The man, granted, his offensive line, we're going to talk about that another time, but that man, he's well on his way. And I think him and DeAndre Hopkins, if they aren't already, one of the best quarterback to wide receiver tandem.
Agreed.
It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm going with the Texans.
I got the Texans as well. It's going to be a very interesting matchup with Ramsey versus Hopkins, but I think the dreadlock powers will prevail. I got the Texans winning that game. The Patriots and the Dolphins. Patriots.
You know what? You know what? Let me tell you something about the Dolphins, man. I have nothing to say. It's going to be the Patriots. All right. Absolutely. Then we got Chiefs at Raiders.
That's going to be a very good game.
That's going to be a very
I originally was going to pick Oakland to win in the upset.
Really?
But the Chiefs, because there's no Tyreek Hill. The offensive line, Mahomes didn't get sacked, but I don't know. The Raiders, they're gonna make it tough, but I think I think the Chiefs gonna walk in there and win.
I think it'll. Do you think it'll be a close game? I'm feeling for whatever reason. I'm thinking it's gonna be a close game. I don't think it's gonna.
I feel like it's gonna be close. Probably like a touchdown, 10-point spread. But I got the Chiefs winning.
I got the Chiefs. There we got Saints at Rams.
Ooh, gonna be beautiful. I think Bob Marley's gonna start singing redemption song. Hilarious. Because the Saints gonna walk into Los Angeles and walk out with that W. I think it's gonna happen. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the Saints on this one. They got something to prove. I think that they're definitely still playing with the chip on the shoulder. I don't know if you saw in game 1 that you saw the people with like the referee outfits and shit. Yeah. So it's definitely still very much so on their minds. I like what I saw from them against the Texans. Michael Thomas showing why he deserved all that guaranteed money. Alvin Kamara, my goodness. We want to talk about a talent. Drew Brees quieting some of the people who were questioning his age and how it's playing into his game and things of that nature. I like the Saints in this one. I think they're going to come up with a dub.
And last but not least, Eagles taking on the Falcons. I got the Eagles winning on the road because the Falcons they was getting shut out 28-0 and
points.
Then, it's ridiculous. No, 12. They scored 12.
Oh, it's 12. Okay.
Yeah, but I got the Eagles winning this game on the road. They're going to walk in there, get stuff done. Nobody's about to cover D-Jax. He's going to go and have himself a day. Yeah. Tatted up, dancing in the end zone. I got the Eagles winning.
And then I'm going with the Eagles too. I think that concludes episode 8 of the Hold My Nuggets podcast. As always, I'm your host with the most, Marv Glover, natural born lover, tuck a baby in some covers, go and kiss his mother, chicken preferably smothered, built like no other, your natural black Haitian boy brother. And I'm here with my guy.
The diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual. The chiseled Adonis. That was impressive.
Yeah, I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And we thank you for tuning in. I'm over stuttering. We thank you for tuning in to the Hold My Nuggets podcast, where we talk 50% sports,
50% real shit,
100% of the time. And if you don't like that, you can hold my nuggets.
Suck my dick.
Thank you, and good night.